I woke up to a text from my bank that made my hands shake. Unusual activity detected. $9,000 charged at 3:14 a.m. I hadn't left my bed all night, but my purse had. If you enjoy stories like this, hit subscribe, because what I found on that security camera changed everything. My name is Rachel, I'm 34, and for 6 years I believed my husband's family had accepted me completely. My own parents passed when I was 22, so when I married Daniel, his mother hugged me and said, "You're not marrying into this family, you're being adopted into it." Daniel's older sister, Vanessa, was the only one who never said that. She smiled at our wedding. She just never meant it. My best friend Monica warned me early on. "Something's off with Vanessa," she said at my bridal shower. "She watches you like she's keeping score." I laughed it off. Vanessa brought expensive wine to every dinner, complimented my cooking, sent birthday flowers. Warm on the surface. I didn't know yet that warmth could be a costume. The first 2 years of marriage were good. Daniel was attentive, we bought a small house in Ohio, and Vanessa visited often. Always cheerful, always generous with hugs, always just a little too interested in our finances. "You two are so lucky," she'd say, glancing at our new kitchen. "Must be nice." The comments got sharper slowly. She'd mention her divorce, her mounting bills, her bad luck, always followed by a joke that wasn't really a joke. "Must be nice to have Daniel take care of everything." Daniel would laugh nervously and change the subject. I told myself she was just struggling. I gave her grace. That was my first mistake. Then came the isolation, not from Daniel, but engineered by Vanessa. She started showing up unannounced, staying for dinner, commenting on how I spent money. "You bought new towels? Interesting priorities." She'd say it with a smile, so it never felt like an attack, just a little sting you were supposed to swallow. Slowly, I stopped inviting Monica over when Vanessa was around, because Vanessa would make cutting remarks about her too. My circle got smaller. I didn't even notice it happening. The first major incident came on my birthday, 3 years into the marriage. Vanessa borrowed $2,000 from our joint account. Daniel had given her access years earlier for an emergency that never got revoked. When I found out, I was stunned. Daniel apologized on her behalf. "She's family, Rachel. She'll pay it back." She never did. The apology phase lasted 2 weeks. Flowers, a handwritten card, promises. Then, like clockwork, another small loan 3 months later. Then another. Each apology got shorter. Each violation got bigger. By year 5, it wasn't about money anymore. It was about control. Vanessa started making comments about my job, my body, my worth. "Daniel could have done so much better," she said once, thinking I was in the other room. I heard it clearly. When I confronted her, she smiled and said, "You're too sensitive, Rachel. It was a joke." Daniel, exhausted from years of these fights, told me to let it go for peace. I started to feel like a guest in my own marriage. Then the ticking clock started. Daniel's company announced a merger. His boss, based in Chicago, was flying in for 2 weeks to finalize contracts, and Daniel would be gone almost every night for dinners and meetings. Vanessa suddenly offered to stay over and keep me company. I should have said no. I said yes, because saying no to Vanessa always came with consequences I didn't have energy for. That's when everything cracked open. The first night she stayed over, I woke up at 3:07 a.m. to a notification. A $9,000 charge at an electronics store 2 towns over, a store that didn't even open until 9 a.m. My purse, which I always left on the kitchen counter, was sitting slightly askew. My card was back inside it, but the transaction was real. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone, feeling the blood drain from my face. I didn't wake Daniel, not yet. Instead, I did what any woman betrayed one too many times does. I checked the camera we'd installed above our garage 2 years earlier. The one Vanessa didn't know still worked after an update. My hands were trembling as I scrubbed through the footage. 3:04 a.m. A figure moves through the kitchen in the dark. Vanessa, in the oversized t-shirt she always slept in, moving straight to my purse like she'd done it before. She pulls out my card. She's not hesitant. She's practiced. I felt sick. Not just betrayed, humiliated. How long had this been happening? I called Monica first, my hands still shaking. "Rachel, you need proof, not just this one video," she said. "Pull your statements, all of them, tonight." Monica had become my quiet anchor over the years, the one person who never stopped checking on me, even when I pushed her away. She drove over at 4 a.m. with coffee and her laptop, and together we went through 18 months of bank records. What we found broke something in me completely. 23 unauthorized charges, some small, $80 here, $150 there, easy to miss if you weren't looking. Some massive, like the $9,000 electronics purchase, which turned out to be gift cards resold for cash. In total, $31,400 stolen from accounts Daniel and I had built together for a decade. I confronted Daniel that morning with the footage playing on my laptop, my voice steady even though my whole body wasn't. He watched his sister's face on screen, watched her hand slide into my purse like it was routine, and something in him finally broke too. "How long," he whispered, "has she been doing this?" We didn't know yet, but we were about to find out. Monica helped me pull together everything: printed statements, time-stamped video, a spreadsheet mapping every unauthorized charge to the corresponding withdrawal or resale listing she found through some quiet digging on Vanessa's secondhand social media account, where she'd been selling brand new, still-in-box electronics for months. The evidence was undeniable, cold, complete. The final incident happened 4 days later. Vanessa came over, unaware we knew anything, acting exactly as she always had, sweet, entitled, completely unbothered. When Daniel asked her calmly to explain the $9,000 charge, her whole demeanor shifted in seconds. The mask fell. "You're really doing this over money? After everything I've done for this family?" she snapped, her voice rising, her finger pointing at me. "She's turned you against your own sister." Daniel didn't yell. He didn't need to. He simply set his phone on the table. The security footage paused on her face mid-theft and said, "You did this to yourself." We had already met with a lawyer 2 days earlier. Identity-related theft, unauthorized card use, and the resale evidence gave us a real case, not just a family argument, but grounds for prosecution. Daniel, finally seeing clearly after years of loyalty clouding his judgment, chose to press charges. Vanessa was arrested 3 weeks later on theft and fraud charges. She was ordered to pay full restitution, $31,400, and received a suspended sentence with probation, contingent on repayment, and a formal no-contact order regarding our finances and property. The fallout in the family was enormous. Daniel's mother, who had spent years excusing Vanessa's behavior, finally saw the pattern laid bare in black and white: bank statements, timestamps, video. She cried on our porch and apologized for every time she'd told me to just let it go. It didn't undo 6 years of swallowed insults, but it mattered. Vanessa lost more than the court case. She lost her access to the family, her credibility, and the sympathy she'd relied on for years. People who once defended her, "She's just going through a hard time," stopped answering her calls once they saw what a hard time had actually paid for. As for me, something shifted permanently. I stopped shrinking myself to keep peace with people who were never really at peace with me. Daniel and I went to counseling, not because our marriage was broken, but because we both needed to relearn what protecting each other actually looked like. He apologized. Really apologized, for every time he told me to let things go. And he meant it. Monica, the friend who never stopped showing up even when I pushed her away, became the person I now call first for everything. Not because I need saving, but because real friendship doesn't disappear when things get complicated. She was there at 4 a.m. with coffee and a laptop, and I'll never forget that. It's been 8 months now. The account that once had $31,400 stolen from it has been fully repaid, every cent. My purse sits on the counter every night, and for the first time in years, I sleep through the whole night without wondering what or who might slip through the dark while I'm not looking. If this story hit home, hit that subscribe button. There are so many more stories like this coming. Stories about the moment someone finally stopped staying silent. Next week, I'm sharing the story of a woman who discovered her mother-in-law had been secretly recording her for 2 years. You will not believe how it ends.